So I came back to the school on Wednesday for teacher planning day, and then it was a half day that day. And then I came back to the school on a Thursday and a Friday, and I haven't talked about it much, but I'm gonna try to recap for those 2 days. So, first, I did start writing things down on Friday just for the morning class. And I tried writing something down for third grade, and then I tried writing something down for second. And second, the main behavior that I didn't like was from one kid. Let's call her Lolly. I didn't like that the first thing she did, and she's done this before, like, she literally was the kid who was screaming on the floor like a siren, rain, 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 because the teacher upset her by not letting her get water. And it is a very extreme reaction, but I'm also with some ESC students, but I still don't know which ones are ESC, meaning I don't know which ones have a disability. I know they act differently, but I still don't know which ones exactly have a disability and which ones are normal. Like, I don't know their IEP plan, I don't know their special education needs, I don't know ADHD, autism kids, like, I don't know what other mental disorders they could have, so I can learn how to better work with them, and there's no one I can ask about that because the teacher and me are not on the same page at all. So I wanted to talk about disrespect. And so on teacher planning day, it was only a half day, and then the teacher had like 4 extra hours to plan out their lesson. So some kids didn't even show up, and it was a bit of an easier day. But the main problem was just that one kid had to leave, and I felt like that was stupid because he smelled like pee, and he's done this before. That's what the nurse told me, and I talked about that like on my last video. So I'm not going to really reiterate that because I wanted to discuss disrespect. But that same student, he's a talkative kid. I'm going to call him Vaughn. And so Vaughn, he's a talkative kid, like he likes to joke, and he does be really harsh with other students. Like like yeah, maybe last week he stepped on a, or maybe it was this, yeah, it had to be last week. He stepped on a girl's hand as she was trying to get up off the carpet because they sit down, it's carpet time, and he steps on her hand with his shoe, and then he's like, it's her fault, her hand was there, and she said no, his foot came out of nowhere. And I have heard him like yell mean things at students. Like, he told me I laughed like a rat, and that was like my second day working with his class, or third day. And it was okay, it's a joke, but he jokes like that. I know he was he would say, this smells like bounce that ass. That stank. I heard him say that, and he said that like twice. And the first time was at lunch, the second time was like in the classroom. And I didn't like that he said that, but he doesn't cuss often, and it was in a joking manner. But anyway, he also is very persistent to like try and talk to me to get out of doing his work in class. And that's okay. Again, I understand because kids, they don't have a lot of time to talk and play, especially in their classroom. But still, it's like, it makes me look bad because I'm the assistant in the class and the teacher does watch me. Like, she needs to be watching her students, but she be watching me for some reason. And I don't like her seeing me talk to students because they're supposed to be working. And if I'm talking to them outside of work, like, she catches that. And I don't mind the students joking with me, but again, I have to start doing that because I'm on the job. And still, yeah, the teachers do be watching me, and I try not to get into conversations with students. I really do. But they keep acting like I'm not an assistant and like I'm just their older friend, like older sister type of friend, and they can talk to me however they want to. And it's like, no, Vaughn, you can't just talk to me in class while your teacher is talking. No, you cannot ask me any questions in class while your teacher is talking. If your teacher is not allowing you to ask her questions, you cannot ask me. Like, I'm not in the room for that. And then they get upset, and I'm just like, I can't say I'm your teacher. And I don't like them doing that because a teacher was upset because a student asked me to go to the bathroom and didn't ask her. And this was back in first grade. And then the principal did get upset with me because I let two students go to the bathroom together and they weren't supposed to. So I really don't like letting kids like roam the halls because that'll be on me if they start acting crazy. And I don't like that at all. And I know that next week the principal is going to start doing evaluations on classrooms, and she's going to definitely be watching my behavior with the students. And I do not like being watched because I feel like these kids are bad kids. Like, I can tell them to stop doing something and they don't listen. And instead of that being on the student for not listening, it'll be on me. And so, as I was saying, back to disrespect, Vaughn on Friday made me really angry. And I didn't do anything. I just stared and I just stood still and stared and tried to calm myself down. But basically, I was just standing and the teacher did not assign me anything to do. And again, when I don't have anything to do in class, I do what any other assistant would do. And I would sit down, I would stare, I would just stand around. This has happened many times. I'm not the only one at the school who does like this. And I'm not the only one who gets upset that teachers are not giving any assistants a position to actually help kids learn. And so, yeah, I didn't have anything to do and I didn't really know what the lesson plan was. All I know is that the teacher was trying to get them to clean up so they could have extra recess. And she was trying to say, hey, be quiet, then you'll get extra recess, something like that for Friday. And then Vaughn just comes up from out of nowhere and I hear, move! And I'm like, and then I stare at him like, I'm not moving just because you're screaming at me. Like, what is going on that you're screaming? And then I look and I'm like, you can go around me. Like, there's no reason for you to come up to me and yell at me to move. So I just point and then I say, hey, go around. And he's like, this is heavy. Move. And I'm like, and I just pause and I look at his teacher and I move out the way. And then he walks and he puts like 8 laptops, whatever was heavy in his hand. It was a bunch of laptops and he just starts plugging them up into the computer case. And the teacher didn't say anything to him about yelling at me. And I know it's not surprising, but I did not like that at all. And I was so angry. I just like clicked out for a moment. Like, I just stood back and I'm just like, I'm not doing anything because this kid just screamed in my face and I can't do anything to him. To tell him, like, hey, that's not how you talk to me. And I know you're wondering, like, why can't you do anything to him? Well, one, I was already mad and he was already carrying something heavy. And I know he has that, like, personality to get loud with teachers, and he's not the only student that does this. And the students always do things just like what he did, though. And it's just getting, like, to me. For example, one student, he's again like a class jokester, class clown type kid, talks a lot, and he's in 3rd grade class, and he specifically, like, I was trying to talk to a student to help him with something, maybe math, maybe reading, I don't know, and then he just is like, shh, 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 Like, he just starts shushing me in my face, like, you can't talk. And then I remember I heard him yelling shut up to kids, and I'm like, Keon, you need to not yell shut up at other students. And then he's just like, shh, 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 shh. And like, interrupting me as I'm trying to talk to him. And I'm just like, I know how your personality is. I know he's a silly kid, but it's like, I'm still a teacher assistant in the classroom. I'm supposed to have some sort of respect and authority, and I don't. And this has happened in other classes. Like when these students go to art class, when they go to music class, they have no respectful behavior at all. To the point that it's just stupid the fact that they even have music and art, because the students don't pay attention and they don't act right. And I know my third grade class goes crazy because the teacher had to give them a lecture about how to act in art class.